All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to talk about Trey McBride and his comments on Kyler Murray, maybe going out there and, being an MVP candidate. We did get a comment in the chat from Hawaiian50. He says, "My nephew will do fine. Tuaman, let's go." So does that mean, does that mean, are you talking about Tua? I don't really, I'm not really following, but if you're claiming that Tua is your nephew, that is, just let me know if that's true. But that's a comment that we got. But yeah, I mean, look, we talked about Tua before, and he's got to go out there and prove it. I think again, for the Dolphins. So yeah, now let's get into the final topic. So we did talk about the Cardinals earlier in the season. And actually, yeah, he said, yes, his dad and I are classmates. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Wow. That's awesome. But yeah, so I all right. That's cool. We did talk about Tua at the start of the show. Just kind of went over some reports that were coming out, about the contract stuff. So we did go over that. Yeah, I mean, look, he's got the talent around him to go out there and have another good year. So, but anyways, so I did want to get into the Cardinals again, team again that I talked about earlier in the season, and so Trey McBride, he was talking about Kyler, and he said, "This is my third year with him now, and he seems more motivated than ever. He's a guy who's bringing everyone together. We're throwing every weekend. We're getting everyone together. He's in the building. First one in, last one out. He's one of those guys who's doing everything the right way. This is the most confident I've seen him. This is the first year I've been fully healthy with him. He's fully healthy. I think everything is trending the right way. He's a ton of weapons out there, and I have full confidence that he's capable of an MVP season." And he also talked about the different weapons. He said, "There's just so many different weapons. We have so many different guys on this team, so many different guys that can make plays. We drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. first overall. He's a freak of nature. He's a guy that's going to take a lot of coverage. Then you got guys like Greg Deutsch, Michael Wilson, Zay Jones, myself, James Conner. There's so many guys that can be explosive and make plays in this offense. I'm just eager to get out on the field and see how the coaches utilize us all." And appreciate I can't even talk. Just subscribe, love the content. Appreciate Hawaiian 50. We do the show every Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure to check us out. Tomorrow will be my last day before I go away for a week. But I will be back after that with more NFL content. And hopefully Tua has a new deal by then. So that's something that I could discuss when I come back. But appreciate you subscribing to the channel and helping us out. But I also, all right, so back to what McBride was saying. I was in the middle of, what he was saying, and he said, "I think he's a remarkable coach. He's so good at scheming up defenses, getting guys open. The way he calls the offense and the way he calls the game is very promising." So he's talking about the new the offensive system. So good at scheming up defenses, getting guys open. The way he calls the offense and the way he calls the game is very promising. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. You know what he's going to do. And like Kyler said, he's a very smart coach. He's a genius, is what he said, but I think it's awesome. He's able to get so many guys open in so many different ways. It's a lot of fun playing for him. And then the last thing he said was, "I think we're a tough physical football team that no one can really count out. We don't get the respect that we deserve, I feel like, but it's good to be under the radar because no one's expecting us to do anything. I think we have a great team, a great offense, and I'm super excited to see where this team can go this year. Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals are one team that I'm curious to see how they are. Because last year, they did win games that they weren't supposed to, like against the Cowboys, with Josh Dobbs at quarterback. And then Kyler Murray came back and played well, and now this is a full year. He's going through it all, no rehab, nothing. He's going to come into the season healthy. And, I mean, could the Cardinals win more games than they did last year? Sure. I mean, I didn't really have them winning a lot of games anyways. I think, what did I have them at? 6 wins? 5 or 6 wins? But when Kyler Murray plays, I mean, he is a lot of fun to watch. And, now they got the number 1 wide receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr. Trey McBride played really well last year. And, especially with Kyler. James Conner has been running the football well for them the last few years. So, yeah, they do have weapons on this team, and I think Jonathan Gannon, he has this, he coaches this team up. So, maybe they do surprise some people, and we'll see how they are in Week 1 against the Bills. That's how we see their season start off, and then we go from there. Kyler last year, I think I have the stats. Yeah, so, passed for around 1,800 yards, 13 total touchdowns. He had 10 passing and 3 rushing. So, now we'll see what he does, coming back from the injury over the course of a full season. And, in the games that he played last year, we kind of got a little bit of a, got to see that, he still could play at a high level. In the year before that, before he got hurt, he had 2,300 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And then in 2021, when the Cardinals made the playoffs, he had 24 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, almost 3,800 yards passing. Also, yeah, I mean, he's a guy that, can take off and run with it too. I actually wanted to look at, how many rushing touchdowns he's had in all of his seasons. So he had 11 rushing touchdowns in 2020. Then he had 5 in 2021, 3 in 22, and then 3 in 23. And that was only playing in 8 games. Yeah, the first 2 years he played in every single game. 2021 he played in 14, 22 he played in 11, and 23 he played in 8. So you're hoping that he could play a full season. And I think the problem with the Cardinals is with Kyler the last few years is like they would get off to these great starts and then they'd kind of fall apart at the end. Now, 21 they made the playoffs, but Kyler did not play well in that playoff game against the Rams. And I think he's looking for redemption. He wants to show that, if they get to the playoffs, that, he gets a redo and he could play well in a playoff game. Because it was not against the Rams. Now, the Rams ended up being the Super Bowl champs, but still, it was bad. It was a bad playoff game. And I think it seems like there's been a level of maturity from Kyler, the way it seems. So, yeah, and you got a coach that believes in you. You got a team that believes in you. So I think this team, we'll see how it is. I think with Kyler, they're going to be a team that is going to put up points. So, they might lose a lot of close games this year, maybe. But yeah, I mean, the NFC, you compare the two conferences. I mean, the AFC is the superior conference. So, we will see how it goes. But, yeah, I'm not going to, disagree with Trey McBride because, if Kyler's healthy, I think Kyler can go out there and have a good season. Now, I don't know how good the Cardinals are going to be, but, Kyler could still put up good numbers even if the Cardinals, might not finish with a good record. So, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think. What kind of season do you think Kyler's going to have? I mean, listen, there are plenty of other starting quarterbacks that I'll look at and say I probably give them a better shot of winning MVP than Kyler. But, yeah, there's definitely a handful. But you know what? I mean, who knows? I mean, he's got to put together a full season, especially coming off of the injury. But also, Kyler always gets off to good starts, and then, like I said, things kind of fall apart at the end of the season. But now it's different because it was also like a Cliff Kingsbury thing, too. Teams would do well in the beginning of the season and then, end up, falling flat towards the end. So maybe it's a Cliff Kingsbury thing more so than Kyler. We'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. And, yeah, that is pretty much it for the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's the last day before my brief hiatus, and then I'll be back the following week. So hopefully you guys, like I said, I think I said this, hopefully you guys don't miss me too much. And hopefully things, we see some more news on, maybe Tua gets a new deal, Jordan Love gets a new deal. Maybe we'll see that. But, yeah, only time will tell. But, yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in, Hawaiian 5-0. Appreciate the comments. Hopefully you tune in tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And also make sure to check out all the other shows on the network. We cover pretty much every sport. Shows go on throughout the day. So make sure to check out all the other shows as well. So with that is all the time that we have for today. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow. Same time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, I'm Kenneth Grunfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.